An investigation is underway right now following a duplex fire in the Spokane Valley. The fire department says it appears the fire started on the back deck. 4 adults and 1 child, they all made it out safely. Also, a cat and a dog got out. We understand both sides of the duplex were damaged. We'll keep you updated on the cause of the fire as information becomes available.
In the meantime, you're taking a look now at what the president of the University of Washington Medical Center called a milestone event. The very first COVID-19 vaccine being administered to a healthcare worker this afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Whitney Ward.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Mark is off tonight. Well, it was almost a year ago that the first U.S. COVID-19 case was reported here in Washington State. And today, we witnessed the first nurse in the state to become vaccinated.
It's kind of that moment of hope that we've all been waiting for throughout this entire pandemic. So here's what that nurse had to say after that initial shot.
I feel excited, and for the first time in a while I feel hope that there is an end coming to this.
Amy Fry is among a group of frontline workers that were the first in Washington State to receive a shot of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. About 3,900 doses are expected to be distributed around the UW Medical Center.
So the COVID vaccine is given like a flu shot. It's injected into the muscle. But unlike the flu shot, you're going to need 2 doses, which will be given 3 weeks apart. So when you get that first dose, you'll be given a vaccine card that reminds you to get that second dose. That second dose also must be of the same vaccine maker. So if you start with the Pfizer vaccine, you're going to need to finish with the Pfizer vaccine. You can't mix and match with any other COVID-19 vaccines that may come out. But we do know thousands of doses of that vaccine have already arrived here in Washington. They have not yet reached Spokane County. So the question is, when will they?
Well, our Casey Decker breaks down what we know and what we don't know.
We know that the first few rounds of vaccines will be given to people in 2 settings. 1, healthcare facilities. 2, long-term care facilities. And the way the vaccine will be distributed to those 2 groups is actually different. Let's start with healthcare facilities, since we know a little more about how this one will work. Here, vaccines are being divvied up by the State Department of Health. We know Spokane County facilities will receive 3,900 doses. A lot of those doses will likely go to the region's big hospitals. Providence confirmed they are receiving a shipment, probably sometime in the next week or 2, but they couldn't say exactly when or how many doses. Multicare also confirmed they'll receive a shipment, probably within the next week. They too couldn't give specifics on time or dosage numbers. Both organizations also confirmed none of the vaccines will be available to the general public. They'll go to the highest risk workers, the ones most directly exposed to the virus. And even then, this first batch won't be enough to cover everyone. Now let's move on to long-term care facilities. Outbreaks are common in these facilities, and with older and sicker residents often quite deadly. So they're a natural priority as well, but these facilities won't get their vaccines from the state. There's actually a separate program just for long-term care. It's a partnership between the federal government and major pharmacies. We called around to some facilities in the area and confirmed that many of them, like the Spokane Veterans Home, the Gardens on University, and Evergreen Fountains, have signed up to get vaccines from CVS or Walgreens. However, none of the facilities had any information on how many doses they might get or when they might get them. The bottom line for most folks, it'll be a while yet before the vaccine is available to the general public. We're still not even sure exactly when frontline workers will get vaccinated, and there are a lot of them to go before the next priority rounds begin. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
And now we want to turn our attention to the gem state. Idaho set to receive more than 13,000 doses of that Pfizer vaccine. That will happen by the end of this week. So here are a few other things to note about that. The vaccine is being distributed to 7 local public health districts. Those locations were chosen based on the number of healthcare workers in each district. Like in Washington, healthcare staff, COVID patients, and long-term care facility workers are among the first to get the shot. The state expects to get another 89,000 vaccines in the second and third shipments.
So while these vaccines came to market fast, experts insist that they are safe. The vaccines must go through all the independent safety steps that a normal vaccine would go through to get that emergency use authorization by the FDA. While a normal vaccine study may have 5,000 people, these trials had between 30 to 60,000 people, and there have been no serious adverse events like a heart attack or paralysis, just normal side effects that you would expect from most any type of vaccine. Well, we know that this is a lot of information about the new COVID-19 vaccine.
Absolutely. That is why here at KREM, we have created our vaccine team to help answer your questions and keep all of this information straight. So, do you have a question about the vaccine that you would like us to look into? You can text your questions directly to us. Just text vaccine to 509-448-2000, or you can text your question directly to that same number.
And for the latest vaccine updates so that you can stay up to speed, just text the word vaccine again to that same number.
And we want to track the latest COVID-19 cases here locally. Spokane Regional Health is reporting another 226 cases today, as well as 3 new deaths. 133 COVID patients are currently hospitalized here in Spokane County. To date, more than 21,800 cases have been confirmed countywide. Our other big story is, of course, the snow that made its way here to the inland Northwest. Look at that. Talk about a winter wonderland. A big thanks to Michelle Wood, who sent in this just gorgeous view out at Long Lake. It's beautiful out there year round, that is for sure. By the way, if you have photos that you would like to share with us, like these weather photos, it's super easy. Just head to the KREM 2 mobile app and you can share them with us using the Near Me section. But boy, with views like that, you just love winter for sure. The driving in the snow actually turned out to be pretty easy today because it was so wet, right? It really melted right away on the roads.
Yeah, and the main bus routes and arterials were plowed really well today, and the de-icer put down. And if you were on it, and if your schedule allowed, you were able to get that snow off your driveway before it got heavy. It's getting heavy right now, and you know why. Temperatures are at 36 degrees, and we're getting a little bit of light rain falling as well. It is also windy outside. Wind out of the south-southwest right now at 22 miles per hour. Take a look at the latest radar. Yep, the green indicates the rain. When you get where the white is right here, this is along the higher elevations, mountains, and that's where we're seeing it still in this form of snow, but most valleys right now just receiving rain. We'll look for cloudy skies tonight, an overnight low of 32. Some roads will get icy tonight. Be aware of that, especially where we saw some the snowpack, the packed snow. Then we'll look for cloudy skies tomorrow. More rain and snow, though, moving in tomorrow night. Mostly rain, I think, though, as we look for a daytime high of 39. It really warms up for the weekend. Keep in mind our average high this time of year is 32 degrees. I'm calling for windy on Saturday and a high of 44. We'll look for rain overnight into Sunday morning and a daytime high of 46 degrees. Continued windy weather expected on Sunday as well. I'll check your 7-day forecast, all coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. New tonight in sports, WSU football head coach Nick Rolovich says this week's game against Utah is, quote, probably going to be it for the season. He made that announcement during a press conference just about an hour ago, which means probably no bowl game and no Apple Cup. Rolovich says that getting pulled off the bus going to Stanford and then getting pulled off the field against Cal did factor into that decision. With this pandemic, he says this year has been incredibly hard on the team. So we'll be sure to follow this and keep you posted on the latest updates from the Cougs. In the meantime, again, they believe that game against Utah may be the last game. Still ahead, we are continuing our vaccine coverage at this hour as those first shots were administered today here in Washington. Coming up next, another vaccine, though, showing promising results. We're breaking down when Moderna's version might also get approved.